Are you a business owner? Are you a creator? Do you know how much your business is worth? How much is your business worth? How much is a creator business worth? Welcome to We Broker Days. I've done a lot for mom and pop businesses, restaurants, bars, hotels. In general, no one thinks about valuations unless it's time to sell or a new investor is being introduced into the mix, so that you know what that means for you and your company. In the future, we'll have more in-depth analysis on each approach for different kinds of valuations. In this video, we're going to get an overview of how a valuation works. A valuation is when a neutral third-party company comes in, analyzes your data, and gives you a specific value for a specific point in time. Do you own a mom and pop shop? Do you have a small business? How much is that small business worth? I've been a business broker since 2014. I've done valuations and BPOs, broker's price opinions, mainly for law firms when both parties in a divorce case cannot settle on a sale price of their joint venture. And most recently, a lot of media and tech startups. This is why it's super important to keep track of who and when these investors come into the fold, because each time they are introduced, they are impacting how many shares are being sold, what the price per share is now at that specific point in time, and what percentage of ownership are they receiving. This is a stage that seriously puts a firm number on your company's fair market value. To illustrate the point, we're going to go over two simple scenarios. In scenario one, if a company issues 10 million shares and an investor comes in and offers $10 million for all the shares, that means each share is worth $1, meaning the company's fair market value now is set at $10 million. In scenario two, if an investor comes in and says, I think your company's worth $20 million and you issued 10 million shares, that sets each share at $2 per share, setting the fair market value at $20 million. Now let's get into some of the valuations we can do for you. A formal valuation is also a limited scope valuation intended for businesses with sales between $1 million and $5 million. A broker's price opinion, otherwise known as a value analysis, is a limited scope valuation that takes into account mom and pop businesses that are generating sales of $1 million or less. Generally speaking, you're going to hear about all kinds of valuations, but it also depends on when this capital injection is happening. You'll hear about early stage investments or pre-money valuations or pre-seed money valuations. Then you'll hear about investment stage. That means the capital is already invested and now the money's starting to work. Then you reach the post-money valuation, which also impacts the fair market value of your share. This is why it's super important to keep track of when these investors are added into the mix, because this directly impacts whether your shares are being diluted or not. For example, if the founders and the existing investor own a combined 10% of the company, you want to make sure that that 10% is not a part of the equation when the new round of investors comes in. What we are all hoping for is that the new round of investors are actually buying at a higher price per share. This is why I say all investors should always keep track of pre-money valuations, investment stage, and post-money valuations so that you're always aware of whether your price per share is going up or down. For mature companies, it's a little easier. It's still tough, but a little easier because you have existing data such as revenue, taxes, profits. For a mature company, it's easier to use existing data for a new investor to come in and bump up your price per share. When you're a startup, it's a little tougher, but there's some factors that you can take into account right away. Growth rate, user count, the industry of the startup, and the founding team. If you are a private company, I highly recommend exercising the 409A. This allows you to have a neutral third-party company come in, analyze all your data for your latest valuation. I recommend that a 409A get done every 12 months or when a material event happens. Please take a look in the description below. That's where you're going to find our contact information for a 15-minute free consultation. If you made it this far, thank you. And if I missed anything, please comment below. I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you want to help the channel, please like and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video.